The changing landscape of the housing market in Las Vegas requires a real estate professional that understands how to get your offer accepted, willing to go above and beyond for service and accountability. Hi, my name is Dan French, and I'm a California native that transitioned to Las Vegas 19 years ago. I've been in the real estate and financing industry for over 13 years. Most real estate agents struggle with answering their phone, returning phone calls, and overall structure running a solid real estate business. Many of my competitors do not have the knowledge of how to write solid offers to legitimately have your offer looked at, and they work with a commission-first mentality. I will roll up my sleeves and work hard to find the right home for you regardless of the time it takes. Please call me directly 702-557-6176 to start the process of finding the right home for you. I'm available 7 days a week for all your real estate needs.
Dan's a fantastic man. He really is.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome.
What's going on, everybody? This is Dan French. This is the French Workbench podcast here on a Tuesday. We have a full studio of people here today, and I'm going to go across and introduce everybody. This is the most real and behind-the-scenes information regarding financing, real estate, money talk, entrepreneurs going on here in Las Vegas. I'm your host, Dan French, streaming live from Las Vegas, and I'm going to go ahead and introduce my guests, and also my co-host. Let's go ahead and start with our first co-host, Corin. What's going on? How are you today, Corin?
Hi, Dan. Happy Tuesday.
What's going on with you today, Corin?
Oh, it's good. You know, I had buyers come to town on Friday, but I had a quiet weekend.
Yeah.
I was alone with my thoughts this weekend. It wasn't a good thing.
Yeah, you had some things going on, didn't you? Like you were like working through some things and like saw a lot of
my
posts.
demons.
I want to know what's going on. What did I miss?
You see my post?
No, I don't
Yeah.
scroll, you guys.
No.
I'm on social media, but I don't scroll.
I was
What
alone with my
happened?
thought. My real estate coach is like, you know, you really should take some time off, and you're just afraid to be alone with your thoughts. See, that's what happens when I'm alone with my thoughts.
Well, I think everybody's got to have some time. I mean, there's a lot. I mean, life is hard sometimes, right, Shannon?
Sure. Are you pointing? You guys, I showed up in a hat. I was like, you know what? Dan, Brett, Joe, everybody's showing up in hats. Why can't I show up in a hat?
Yeah, you look good with a hat on.
She looks
Thank you.
adorable.
Thank you.
know,
No, it was more
girls
than-
who can rock a baseball hat are the hottest girls.
You know what? I went to the gym this morning, kids, but I had an admin day, so I figured, why not? Why would I wash my hair? Okay, I know you have the same problem. Yeah.
Yes, my hair is flowing underneath this hat.
I know, but we
So-
just tuck it up so that it's healthy.
Yeah, exactly.
right?
And
Okay.
it's just one of those cul-de-sac things. You know what I mean? It's just like you got to work. What?
Do you call it a cul-de-sac?
Yeah, it's a cul-de-sac.
Tell
Why?
everybody what that means.
Actually, you know what I was thinking is, you ever seen those? They have like things on YouTube where you can like shave it, and then they put like a glue it to your head type of thing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And then they fade it in.
The MIGs, man
And
wigs.
you can never even know. You know what I mean? The only person that's going to know is if they really get close to your head, but then you're going to smack them with their hand. You know,
Yeah,
like,
you don't even
no.
let them touch. But what happens when, let's say, there's an intimate moment and you want to touch it?
Well,
You
they're always going to
can't.
be looking that way and not at me.
Oh my God!
Wow. You know what? I'm so glad I get it.
I just fell more in love with you. That's so good. Okay, thank you. Let's get this.
All
I'm
right,
so
so let's
glad I
keep
grew up a sheltered Asian girl.
I know.
Shelter.
I know.
Sure.
I know. We're getting a little ahead of ourselves here. So let's go ahead and introduce our guest. She is Marissa Marshall, and she is an electrician, right, Marissa?
That's correct, an event electrician.
Go ahead. So what about you? What do you do for work? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
So if you've ever been to a concert or a convention or anything where there's like a stage and people you're supposed to look at, I am one of those people who set up the lights so that you can see what's going on.
Right.
I plug lights in and I point them at people and stuff. That is the simplest way to put it.
That is art. I know
It really
that
is.
It is.
And you'd be surprised how many people can't paint.
So you're an electrician, and we're going to get into this because we have a lot of information to talk to you about. But the reason we brought you on is because you're an entrepreneur. You're somebody that has gone out in the business in the work field, and you're looking to I don't know if you were going through this whole process with COVID, but what does the transition look like for you heading into where we're at today, and then also some of the challenges working in Las Vegas, So let's talk about that.
Whew, very challenging. I moved here from New York City 3 years ago.
Yeah.
My first year here was incredible. I had a whole bunch of gigs lined up. I was meeting people left and right. I was getting into this convention, that convention, just like making all these really great new friends. And then COVID hit. And I had all this stuff lined up because we like to book ourselves out months and months in advance. And dropped like flies.
Yeah, we weren't doing conventions anymore.
Yeah, anything that I work on has at least 5,000 attendees alone. Wow. That's not to talk about the back of house staff. That's usually about 300 people who are making this all come together. So, yeah, it was tough. It's been a really hard 2 years mentally, spiritually.
So what have you done to make sure that, number one, you didn't crumble as a business, and then starting to build on that foundation of what you had started when you came here to Vegas?
So what I did was I actually focused a lot on myself and the crafts that I've been putting off for the last 20 some odd years because I work constantly and I'm usually touring. So yeah, I got to like knit. I started doing macrame, making pretzels and stuff.
You know what? You made Dan a shirt, didn't you?
Oh yeah,
a sweater.
It's really cute. It's got the nipples cut out.
He would love that.
Didn't want to know.
I also want to introduce one other guest of ours. So we have to go ahead and introduce Mr. Is it Joe Martinez, right?
Yes.
Okay. And Joe, what do you do for a living, Joe?
I'm a lender with knock.com.
Okay, with knock.com, right?
Yes.
And you guys are a niche lender. You guys offer bridge loans, is that right? Kind of explain what that's about and what you do.
Sure. Part of the product is a bridge loan. It's called the home swap, and basically what it allows you to do is take the equity from your current home and use it as the down payment and closing cost for the new home without doing a cash out refi. So it also differs from traditional bridge products where we build 6 months of the old mortgage payment into your bridge loan, which allows us to strike that mortgage off your debt to income ratio, which allows much more people to qualify for the program.
Right. Cool. So there's always niche programs. Let's explain a little bit about how everybody has a fit in this world. First off, we always say there's more than enough business to go around for everybody. That's okay, right. So there's not we all want everybody to win, right? We're not sitting here going to compete and go through that process. Now, what he does is completely different than what I do in the sense that we don't really do bridge loans. We can do them, but there's an option called brokering, right? And a lot of the stuff that we do outside of the normal Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, all that stuff that they talk about, that's a brokered option. So that's why there's always a place for guys like Joe. He does other things too. You have another program as well that you do, right? Is there something else that you guys do, like an equity type thing?
Well, that's the one I was just talking about, the home swap.
Home swap. Talk a little bit more about that. So
yeah, in layman's terms, for people like me who do not understand at all.
Sure. So let's say you have a home that you value on the open market for $500,000, right? If you have a mortgage on that property of, let's say, $300,000, you have a perceived equity of about $200,000, right? What knock will allow you to do is take a portion of that equity. We're not going to get up to the bleeding edge because what we don't want is when you do sell that property to not have to owe us anything, right? To be able to completely cover the bridge loan. So we give you about 65% of your perceived equity. So in that case, it'd be about $130,000.
Yep.
We then take that and put that down payment and closing costs on the new home.
Gotcha.
We also build, like I said, 6 months of the PITI from your current home in there so that your current mortgage is taken care of for 6 months. And we can even build $25,000 of home prep on the old home so that we can make sure your house sells for as high as possible.
There you go.
I may sound really dumb right now. So does this mean that people that are using this program are not coming out of pocket?
They can possibly not come out of pocket. That's correct.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so you can close with 20% down, avoid the PMI, and get your closing costs paid for. So they walk in, we do the bridge loan wires money to the purchase title company. They cover that part of it, they close, walk away with no money out of pocket.
Wow.
Before everybody gets excited, though, you are not yet here in Nevada to do this.
Almost,
That's
right?
good.
Almost.
Almost. We're in California, Texas, Arizona, Colorado, some few states back on the East Coast like Florida, South Carolina, North Carolina. Georgia's where we originally started the program. And we're seeing a huge influx of equity from California to Arizona, Texas, and then also Texas to Colorado. I don't know why, but we see a lot of people moving from Texas to Colorado.
Really?
And I know if we were active in Nevada, we'd be seeing a ton of it coming here because I mean, that's particularly why I believe the market here, especially in Las Vegas,
Right.
is not going to go down.
Right.
Because you have people paying
Thank
astronomical
you.
prices. And we recently bought our home. And
It was crazy.
we were told, oh, you're buying at the top of the market. Not really, because our house is worth a lot more now than we bought, and we bought
Yeah.
less than 6 months ago.
That's
Right,
so good.
exactly,
I think that's important to talk about because Dan, you asked that at almost every single show recently. You're talking to people about how do you feel about this market, and there's this fear of missing out, but then also am I buying at the top? And so it's good to hear, that people are going out there and they're being told that, and then you turn around, and you're like, look, it wasn't the top of the market.
Right.
Look where we're
Yeah,
at today.
exactly.
So
And that's
keep
gonna,
that in mind.
That's going to lead us right into, does rising interest rates impact the market? Is it going to slow the market down? We saw this in 2010. I'm going to talk about that as well. But I also want to go back, and you have a good point there, Shannon. Let's go back and we'll talk. So the first thing I want to bring up is about Marissa Marshall and what she does for electrician. We brought her on. Let's talk a little bit about you starting your business. When did you start your business here in Las Vegas?
Starting my business here in Las Vegas really started in New York, right? Just kind of making connections and using LinkedIn, trying to make friends. I knew no one here. I have no family here. We were coming out.
Me neither.
Well, why
we
did you-
packed our truck and drove out.
Why did you choose to go from New York to Vegas, though? What made you decide
So-
Vegas is my spot?
A couple of reasons.
Okay. She
I used
readjusted.
to do, a couple of things. I originally wanted to move to Los Angeles. Market is crazy there.
Yeah.
I lived there for about a year,
Yeah.
2015 to 16. It was nuts. And then when I moved back to New York City, I realized that I did not want to do theater anymore because my skill level had changed. So I was doing live events with my mentor, Eric Bruce. I hope he's out there. Hi.
You just threw a shout out. I saw him.
I
He was
know.
on your-
Okay,
I
great.
saw that.
Awesome. So he was like, "No, girl, we're done with theater. We're moving on." And so with that, moving to Vegas was just the next smart choice. New York City there's 10 million people there, right? Everyone's scratching each other's eyes out for jobs. And I don't mind fighting. I didn't really want to anymore.
Yeah.
And we were tired of the snow and all that, blah, blah, blah. So we were like, well, also the other thing was the state income tax.
Oh,
he had
yeah.
mentioned this before. And I
Business
was like,
perspective,
I don't care
so
about
smart.
that because I was in theater. I'm an artiste. I don't care about money stuff. That's his deal.
And then I told her taxes.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
she
he's
was
like,
like, this is a good idea.
This
now."
actually makes sense. I
So
don't know.
I actually kind of forced it this was my idea. I was like, yeah, we're going to move to Las Vegas. And he was like, okay, great. Thanks for
That's
getting
only
on
happened
board.
once in our relationship.
Yeah, only one time.
idea.
over 10 years, they've only been right all the time.
Oh,
Yeah.
did we mention that these two are married?
Oh, we didn't. I don't think.
Oh, you guys are married. So how long have you guys
No,
been
they're
married?
actually in love. It's great.
Yeah.
It is.
well-
they have no kids. That's why.
No,
Yeah.
that
why?
is exactly, no
That's why.
kids.
That's why
Yeah,
they're still in love.
we'd make them choose, which one do you, who would you save? Yeah, we've been together for 10 years now.
Aw,
Yeah, it's
congratulations.
crazy. Thank you.
That's
Do you
wonderful.
guys have any kids? Are you guys thinking about it? Or?
No kids, they said.
No, we don't.
No.
The kids are the business right now.
Right. We've spoken about it,
Yeah.
and the older we get, we're kind of just like, why?
We didn't ask that question, by
That's
the way.
okay.
It was
That's
Dan that
okay.
asked.
Well, I want to know because I feel like once you get to a certain age, kids just become an afterthought, unfortunately. And it's not saying that, but I mean, you start getting your 40s and 50s, it's like, man, I've
No.
made it this far. Do I really want kids?
yeah.
I love kids.
No, honestly,
But I'm just saying that's what
honestly,
happens.
Dan, I have a 10 and 12-year-old, and I'm officially, oh God, I'm gonna freaking age myself right now. Officially a geriatric
Oh my God, here
pregnancy
you go.
if I were to get pregnant. I have a timeline on this. No, I'm sorry. I'm good. I got
That's an
to.
actual
Yeah, but you
time.
No,
meet that right
35.
person and they're like, hey,
No,
let's meet,
no,
let's have
no,
some
Dan,
kids.
look at me,
You
look
just
at-
never know. Women
It'd
No.
be like,
will
let's get a
always
puppy.
No.
change their mind if they meet the right person.
Look at me in the eyes, Dan. Look at me in the eyes.
disagree.
Look. No, sir. Okay.
See,
Corinne?
Joe is
Corinne, you gonna have another one?
He's staying silent right here, Dan. He's like,
He's
dude,
the baby.
He's the smart
He's
one.
the baby.
Well, see, that's
ahead.
and that's what I think.
Dig that hole, Dan.
That's what I took from my brother. So my brother had kids really early, and I saw the struggle that they went through in New York, especially in New York,
Yeah.
because to own a car in New York is a hassle just because where do you park it, right? One, and two, insurance is astronomical. So just getting the kids around and doing those things. First of all, I had enough of that experience. I think we should start all right here, just right now, start a child renting business,
Yes,
like, you know,
please.
like a Uber for children, and you
Yes.
let somebody take care of your kid for
I
a little
wanna
while
just-
and then
I
return them.
really
I was gonna
love
say, are
going
you gonna
to-
take mine for a little bit? Is that what you're offering?
Do they like
let's
Chuck E.
try the
Cheese?
pilot.
Ew,
Let's try the
girl,
pilot right
no,
now.
No.
we do not do Chuck E. Cheese, not in my
Please?
house. No.
Dave and
Buster's.
Buster's? Okay, I'll take your kids to
They
Dave and
serve
Buster's.
wine.
Okay,
at Chuck
done.
E.
Hello.
Cheese. They have
Really
also,
important.
so,
They're very
yes,
cute. They're very cute.
Kids are great, no doubt
Yeah.
about that, and it'd be interesting to see what we could create in that sense. But
Yeah.
we definitely want to create something here first, and if who
Yeah.
knows?
Who knows? You
Well,
never
you-
know.
I
You don't
mean,
shut a door on anything.
You guys
True.
are fresh. You said 3
Yeah.
years ago,
Yeah.
and I love that you said our business that those are our children
kids
because
right
it
now,
is
yeah.
it's a really ingrained in you. It's a part of your life and who you guys are. So I'm curious to hear more about. Okay, so you come here, you start rocking it, and then COVID shuts everything down. Where are you at now? What does that look like?
So at the end of the summer last year, things started to pick up. My phone started to ring.
Cool.
There were times where I would every once in a while I would email people. My mentor gave me this trick, and it was email people that you know every 2 weeks. Hey, remember me? I'm that lady. We worked at this thing. Here's my schedule for the next 2 months. Talk to you later. And I just send those out
Yeah.
every couple of weeks.
Yep.
And people go, we need somebody. Let's call that lady who keeps emailing us.
That's right.
Right?
Top of their
Yeah,
mind.
exactly.
Top of
It
their
works.
mind.
And I don't know why
Yeah.
more people, especially who are in sales, because that's what I do. I'm selling myself. I don't have,
We all do.
it's just
yeah.
me. Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to use me. I am diligent. Holla. So it was really tough.
Oh, I love that. We should hashtag that. I am
do it.
diligent. Holla.
Thank you. Yeah, it was tough. It was really tough. But like I said, we got kind of kicking at the end of the summer. I was working at Allegiant Stadium, doing all the home games for the Raiders. That was really
Oh,
cool.
my goodness.
Really
so they
cool.
have like a band
Yeah.
in the 200 section, and I was up there in the 200 section setting up the lights. So what I do, Madam Electrician is basically a play on words. Master Electrician is actually the term that you would call
Yes.
the
Right.
boss of the lighting department, right? They take whatever the lighting designer says to do and they implement it, and they boss the crew around and make sure that everything works, right? So as I am not a master, I am a madam. That's where I got my company name from.
I like
Right.
it.
That is-
Isn't
I
that
like
dope?
it.
So
I
what
really
made
like
you
it.
choose electrician?
Yeah, how'd you get
First
into
of
that?
all.
So this is how I got into it. When I was 14 years old, a mentor in my high school said, I know that you really love acting, but there's this program at this theater called Brava for Women in the Arts in San Francisco, where I grew up, and they teach you backstage tech.
Oh, okay.
And they were like, carpentry, audio, lighting, all the stuff that happens backstage. And I was like, okay, that sounds cool. She was like, well, then they pay.
Unlike
like,
Even
actors.
better.
What?
Right.
They paid $6.50 an hour. That's
Ooh.
gold to
Yeah.
a kid, right? Who was making literally zero.
Right.
So I fell in love with the program. It was about 3 months. Kids come, they go, and I was like, I am up in this thing. I never want to leave. And they saw that about me, and they gave me a set of keys to the theater and the code to the door, and they
Oh,
were like,
wow.
you can run this shit. So,
Nice.
yeah, and what they promise also is job placement for life, which if you're someone like me or my friends, like my friend Ashley or Tanya, you don't need job placement for life. You are so in love with the work and with the art that a couple of gigs that they give you and you're out running. We ran San Francisco and beyond. Like, it's insane. It's insane what they did there. And I kind of want to do a program just like that. Like, if I were to stop physically doing labor, right, as Madam Electrician, I would have a consulting side as well as an educational side for the youth, because it changed my life. I went
Yeah.
from having no idea what I wanted to do and not thinking that I would survive to adulthood to having like a real career
Yeah.
at 14.
That's
That pays
amazing.
well.
That pays well.
So what's your plan moving forward? So you're in Vegas, you're going to do that. Do you plan on opening something that is a training facility type
Quite
for
possibly.
kids? What does that look like?
So I've kind of put it a little bit on the back burner just because of how crazy everything is with this COVID stuff.
Right.
Funding would have to be another thing, and getting investors and
Oh,
things
we
like
can
that.
get those.
Oh, I'm sure.
Oh, we gonna find 'em.
Oh, I'm sure.
Okay.
Yeah, now that I'm putting it out there, I still want to do that. I have been reeling just a bit. Financially it was tough. I'm very fortunate that I have a very supportive partner whose work did not slow down, but picked up. You know,
No joke.
Where
I wanna-
were
I
you
wanna
in
ask
the
something.
car
Yeah.
while you were doing this interview?
I want to ask a question. So take me through your day of what you do, and so people can get an idea about
Okay.
what your daily process would be.
All right, so let's say there's a concert that's coming up, a rock show, and a lighting designer has been working with for months with a band. He's come up with a plan, or she, 'cause there are lady lighting designers. They've come up with a plan, and they send a list of gear that they would like ordered to a rental company. That rental company pulls all the gear, right? We go to this giant warehouse. All the gear is there. Your production crew, which I would be a part of, with the lighting designer and a couple of other people.
Sure.
We go in, we unpack all the cases that they've taken down for us. We literally build lighting fixtures into the trusses. So if you go to a concert and you see like black stuff in the air and there's stuff hanging, someone built those on the ground, stuck the lights in them, programmed them, gave them like a number to listen for, plugged them in, taped everything up really nice
Wow.
and neat, test it on the ground, and then pray to God nothing happens to the truck, right? Because we put everything in the truck, stack it all up, everything's labeled. Like, I've done gigs where a prep will take anywhere from 2 days to 2 weeks.
Wow.
It depends on how, like, what kind of concert it is, you know, how much money they got.
So it's all here in Las Vegas. It's not like you go to other states, do you?
I
Do you
have
really?
gone to other states to put on shows, and other shows have come to me that are from other states. So
Right.
yeah, and it's really
you're
about
in the
who you know.
You're
Yeah.
the entertainment capital
Exactly.
of the country.
Exactly. I don't know why people think it's LA or New York. I was tripping. It's here. It's here for
What
real.
is some of the challenges that you had to deal with through COVID? Like a lot of people, we bring entrepreneurs on just so everybody understands why. We bring people on so they can understand, first off, what it's like to run a business here in Las Vegas, some of the challenges, the experiences, and also, too, how did you come out of COVID? Was it, you know, because everybody was shut down. You obviously were shut down, too, through COVID, right?
Oh, yeah. Primarily, the events that I do have about 5,000 attendees minimum, right? So we all know they weren't letting more than 10 people be in a room together at any
Right.
given time. So all that stuff got knocked out, and they went to like webinars, right? So they were live streaming stuff. Now, if you were lucky and you worked for like a production company in-house, you could build, like I had a buddy named Ray, and his company built a stage in their warehouse with all their lights because no one was renting them.
Yeah.
And they were like, you guys can just come here and
heard
shoot
about
stuff.
that, actually.
Right? But I don't work for anybody.
Yeah.
I work for myself.
Right.
So that was tough. It's really all about bothering folks. Can I get on that? Hey man, do you know somebody? You know,
Can you please repeat that for the entrepreneurs out there that think that they're going to reach out one time and get a yes?
No one. I keep this on my phone. It's insane. The 2% of sales are made on the first contact. 80%
you.
of sales are made on the 5th to 12th contact. I
Thank
look
you.
at that every day.
I always
Bother
say 8
people
to 10.
constantly.
Yep, 8 to
Constantly.
10. You're
Yeah,
not
Yeah, it's
forget
just
about
like
it.
it's
That's
just like in the
amazing.
lending world. You know, you look at lenders and you look at realtors and you know sales, and usually the first person that they contact is the one that they work with. Almost every time, you might get 4 or 5 calls from everybody else, but it's that first one has made the biggest impact. Probably because that customer has the most intrigue because they're right there.
Yeah.
Once you've already gotten the knowledge or information, and they're trying to get somebody else. What happens? They'll say, I've got that information. You know, I'll keep you on the side. If I need you, I
Yeah.
need you.
Yeah, but most
Yeah.
people, most entrepreneurs don't do what she's doing. They're consistent. I mean, she just said she's sending emails to people every 2 weeks.
Yeah, the same
Most
people.
give up after 2-3 contacts and then go, well, it's not working. Well, no, you have to build a rapport, the relationship, and you got to find them in that time
Right.
where you're at the top of their mind because you're the one showing up consistently. And then they go, okay, I'm ready.
And what's
I'm gonna
crazy
call
too
Marissa.
is that like I've had to fight, right? I am a woman, right? And I've been doing this since I was a kid,
Sure.
basically. And I have to hustle.
Yeah.
I run circles around dudes. No lie. That are
love you.
that are, have been in the industry for longer or that are older or they know more or whatever. And I'm like, I don't care. I might not know as much, but I'm willing to learn. I'm
Yeah.
willing to listen, and I'm willing to run circles around anybody. So like even if I'm like the crew lead, if I'm the ME or just like the L2 or whatever, which is just like another person who bosses other people around, right? I'm gonna be pushing cases. I'm not just pointing my finger. Oh, that goes over there. No, let's go, dude. You come with me. We're gonna push these. We're going over here. And they're like, dude, this lady's nuts.
Yeah.
So, besides bothering people all the time, I put on a performance. You
Yes.
are forced to
Exactly.
remember who I am and what I do. And
Yeah,
how
you're
good
leaving
I
your
do it.
brand when you leave somebody.
Yeah.
You know, one of the things I want to say is the difference between an entrepreneur versus an investor. We talked about this. An entrepreneur starts from ground zero, right? They come up with the idea or build the business on their own. Investors invest into the business. I think you have to have that mindset where you have to have that, drive, that tenacity. And I think that, when you're a business owner, I don't know, I can't speak, obviously, you guys are women. Is it harder, do you think, to get your foot in the door?
Yes,
It is.
Absolutely. I'm not gonna lie, I had my share of days where I rocked the low cut top that was real tight. I gotta get in there somehow.
You gotta do it.
what
Hey,
I
man,
mean?
sex
Yeah.
sells, does it not?
It does.
Everything
And then-
you put, it's sex sells.
And then they would go, damn, that girl is fine. And she works hella hard.
That,
Like,
yep.
what?
Oh, and then she opened her mouth and she actually
Right,
knows
and
what
now
she's
she's
talking
even-
about.
She actually
That's
had
what
a brain.
Imagine that.
That's what happened to
Right?
this poor guy.
Yeah.
He wore low
Then
cut
you
tops
open your
too.
mouth.
I was going to do something to kind of make a spoof on women realtors. Do like a sexy shirt thing for guy loan advisors or loan officers, because you'll see a lot of women posting stuff on their Facebook that are somewhat revealing. Right, and those are the ones that catch everybody's eye. I think guys should do the same thing. Like,
yeah, but
go
you
to
got to
the
look
gym.
good,
I
man.
would like
I'm
it.
not saying
No,
you
don't
don't.
have to. No, you don't
But
have
I
to be
mean,
perfect.
sometimes you just got to work out. Like, it's harder for a guy, because a guy, they have to work out. They
Wait.
got to get like abs and
It's
chest.
harder
and
for you guys?
Women are just like, hey, you know
No.
what? I'm gonna put some makeup on.
No, that
And
is
it-
so.
This
You
is what I
guys,
say.
right
We'll go to the-
now,
we'll
I
go to
want
the
to
gym.
crush you.
We'll go to the gym. We'll get a nice pump in, and then take the picture.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
so like-
exactly what.
Don't eat a
That's how it is.
burger tonight and you'll be fine tomorrow.
Girls are like, I eat a banana and I put some makeup on, so I look good, right? I'm like, I just got a low cut top. You know what I mean?
That's
Whatever
what
You guys,
Whatever
can we
works.
kick Dan out? Is it possible?
No, because then it'll be like just a chick show.
Yeah, right.
Oh, we don't
We
want
can't, we
that.
don't want
Yeah,
Don't
we don't want any
stream.
feedback on a chick show,
We
because
don't
I gotta push back a little bit, ladies.
Right.
I mean, it
What,
can't
we're gonna
just,
talk about that. What was his name? Can we mention him?
Oh no, nobody
gosh,
mentions
that would be
somebody's
fun
name.
though. Come on.
No, but let's go back to it. So I want to bring up a few things. So obviously you got your foot in the door, and you had some challenges in Las Vegas. What do you feel about Las Vegas? Has it always been good to you?
It has. I think that people are really cool here.
In
They don't
what
move-
in what way?
In what way?
Yeah.
Like, they're willing to like be friendly. People are
Yeah.
really friendly
Really?
here.
Because I have
they
neighbors I
are.
don't know for 10 years.
That's
I mean,
you, Dan.
yeah,
That's
we,
You know,
you.
I go
We're
and I
kinda
come
weird
home and I'm
ourselves.
waving everybody.
I love
Yeah.
my neighbors.
we do the same thing.
I
and I
love
mean,
my
like,
neighbors.
you don't do that in New York City. Most people
No.
are not. You're not waving at anybody.
No,
you
my
know?
neighbor
But
texts me.
here-
He's like, "Corinne, your garage is open. Did you know that?"
Oh, it's so sweet.
See, we don't have anyone's number, but like we've invited the folks next door over for the barbecues or whatever, and
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
the kid across the street asked me if I want to smoke weed with him, and I was like, no, thanks. Like it's really nice of you, and yeah, we wave at everybody when we come in. We're at the end of the cul-de-sac, you know, so it's
There's
kind
that
of like
word
a
again.
parade
I
for
gotta
us.
move to Summerlin.
I like it.
That's
So
where you
okay,
at.
so
That's my word.
the people. Obviously, you
People
guys
are
brought
really
up that there's
nice.
business advantages.
Yes.
100%. I think it's
Everyone
almost silly
here
to not
is
jump
almost
into that.
like it almost feels as though everyone is a business owner here. You
Yeah.
know, like
Well,
There's
they're
a lot
all
of
willing to
entrepreneurs.
chat.
Let me say this.
Yeah.
I think what's nice about Vegas in the business entrepreneur community, right, is that people are unapologetically about their business,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Uh-huh.
If I meet you and I can help you and you can help me, they're good about that. In New York, there's clicks. It's old money, right? So people
Really?
people are so entrenched in their businesses.
Yeah.
Like you know how hard it is to become a lender in New York? It's really difficult.
Yeah, I heard you have to actually be a lawyer, or you have to be a lawyer to actually do the loans, right?
It's a lot.
Yeah.
That's one too. Like
That's
or
effed up.
getting a liquor license in New York is extremely hard as well.
because you have to have your in.
At one point, they weren't even making new liquor licenses, from what I heard. I mean, I was never like a restaurateur or
You have to
anything
know
like
a
that.
guy to
You
know
had
a
to buy
guy.
it from another person.
What?
So yeah,
And who would sell a liquor license in New York?
Why
They
would
sell
you do
alcohol
that?
till 4:00 in the morning.
So,
Right.
so frankly, I liked here when I got here. I was working for New York Life First Financial Services.
Yeah.
And you would go network, and everybody was really at least interested in talking to you. They may not want to do business right
Yeah.
away, and it takes time to build that
They're
rapport, especially
open.
in that industry. But here with mortgages, because I think Vegas has become a center of real estate, and because it's so what's the word, transitional, or like people move in and move out a lot,
Yeah,
that you see, transient, thank you, that you see that often, and they need people like us to do what
Yeah,
they wanna
I
do.
think though it's a second chance, right? You think about it. If you go from California, where I grew up, I felt like there was nowhere to go, right? You was like, yeah, you can go, but you got to put your time in. Everybody wanted to go to the local grocery store and like put 20 years in and get the good, medical insurance and all these things. It's like, oh, I'm going to go do this. Oh, you got that job? Oh, wow. Here it's almost like you have another chance because nobody knows you and you're starting from ground zero, which everybody else is. Everybody's in the same position, right?
Yeah.
And I think being an entrepreneur here in Las Vegas really gives you that opportunity to say, okay, if I start this business, if I do things right, I'm going to have a chance to really make this work.
Well, and it's a culture. I mean, we really have a culture of people, and you think of most people that come here, it's because they want to create something different and something bigger outside of what they've had previously. And even if, from my experience, especially with entrepreneurs in this town, is that you could come in, you can start with something, mess it up along the way, and reinvent yourself, and you're still good.
Yeah.
People, as long as you show up for our community, and you have a good reputation, and you really do, like you were saying, open to other people's, entrepreneurial journeys and what they're doing. Even if you're not a client, you're still supporting them. And as long as you show up that way, this town is so welcoming. It's so different.
And that one I wouldn't say disadvantage, but you have to show up, like you're saying, because in New York, it's so big that if you make a mistake somewhere, you can hide and go somewhere else, and those people won't know you. Networking events here, you see the same people.
It's a small town.
It's a
for
small
3
town,
million people.
100%.
It really
like it
is.
like that.
And one other thing I wanted to mention.
For the local community,
Yes.
it's a small town.
In real estate especially, right? In New York, you can't get into a property and cash flow immediately. It's impossible. Even with a 3-4 family property in New York, you'd have to live in the basement. And even then, in an illegal apartment in the basement, and right then you're just breaking even on the mortgage.
You cash flow before you buy here.
Yes.
I mean, there's tenants already in there.
Wow.
Which is a huge
Yeah.
ability, like you were saying,
Yeah.
if you're thinking as not just an entrepreneur, but then as an investor, to be able to jump in the game so much quicker and not have to live in the basement.
Yeah,
or
because
something like
and
that.
if you really think about it, what business actually is profitable first year? What business? It's very
Hardly any.
rare,
Yeah.
hardly
Yeah.
any. And so same, I would just assume, okay, well, it's an investment, so it's a business, right?
Sure.
And okay, it's going to take you some years to build the equity and start making cash flow. But Vegas is a whole different beast. Like, you can start a business today and be profitable almost immediately.
Yes. So I want to go back and I want to talk about her business here. So Marissa, let me ask you this question. So when you got into this business here, did you right away start cash flowing, or was it a challenge where you had to really put your time in? Because usually a business, for everybody says, is the rule of thumb is 5 years, right? Before you really start making a profit. Did you already start hit the ground running?
Hit the ground running.
And you made
I was
money
very
right away.
fortunate. Yes.
You did.
Well, the great thing about me is that I am really experienced,
That's right.
I already came
Yeah.
with 20 years of experience, and I started building immediately. Like, as soon as we decided, yes, we're going to move to Vegas, I started hitting up all of the warehouses, all the rental houses, all the companies.
What
that
would
do
you do to them?
staffing.
Like, what do you just knock on the doors? I mean, what did you do?
I would email, I would call, and then when I got here, I walked
Walking
in.
in.
Yep. Hey, I'm Marissa. Like, who is in charge here? Like,
Right.
where are they? Who's the hiring guy? Like, who's the touring lead? Who are all these people? Actually, a lot of times too is like, I wouldn't just walk into somewhere without knowing. So like when I walked into PRG, I had already looked on the website and figured out the people I need to talk to. So I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna talk
You
to this
came
guy.
prepared.
Yeah, so
Yes.
you look nice, you go in, you're like, hey, I emailed you my resume already, but here's a copy, which is ridiculous.
There
I
you
hate
go.
printing my resume, but
Yeah.
and just chat people up. Sure, I came all the way from Summerlin to the middle of town to just talk to you for 5 minutes, but that doesn't bother me if it's gonna start,
That's right.
a relationship. So
Yeah.
immediately once I walked in there, said my spiel, and they were like, "You're really cool. When can you come in?" I was like, "We can do paperwork right now, and
Yeah.
I'm available next week."
We can do it right now.
like,
Let's
seriously.
not
I
wait.
love that hustle.
I love it.
Before I came here, I was looking at a property on Eastern and Desert Inn.
Nice.
And a friend of mine is like, all right, I'll meet you at the Starbucks. I'm like, dude, there is no Starbucks here. There is no Starbucks here. It's like,
That's a
there
big
is
word right
bars on
there.
the windows, you know. But I love that. I took a picture of this boarded up house. I sent it to my team. I go, anybody want to call the seller? There's a for sale sign by owner there. Nobody responded, by the way, but you know. But you know,
you gotta
But
go
it's
get
the
it.
hustle.
Yeah.
I
It's the
love
hustle.
I love going
Somebody
where I'm not
wanted
supposed
to buy that.
Where people
No,
don't
somebody's
expect
going
me.
to.
Yeah.
I love
Somebody's
being
going
where I love doing and being where people don't expect me
Yeah.
to do and be good at what I do.
Exactly.
So and that's
So I want to say this about rejection, right? So isn't it? I don't know how you guys deal with rejection. But
I
think
cry.
One of the hardest things for me is like when you get in and you're like dialing for dollars, right? You get into a business or you're going and knocking on doors. I was relentless too. Like when you get started, you got to have no fear. But I think a lot of people get turned off, especially in sales or starting a business, where they're afraid to get rejected. Were you ever like that, or did you just handle it well?
I was afraid to be rejected,
Yeah.
but
Yep.
I didn't really have a choice because if I didn't make the move, no one's going to make the first move for you, right?
Yeah.
No one's going to come up to you and be like, hey, I heard about you. Especially if you're just chilling in your room because you're a freelancer waiting for a gig
Yeah.
to start. You have to make that first move. Otherwise, there are no...
How'd you get over your fear then?
I just, I talk to myself in the mirror a lot.
No,
you guys do
share.
that?
Do you
Yeah,
really?
share.
Yeah, I talk
Mantras.
to myself in the mirror
Yeah,
a
tell
lot.
us.
I
Here's your
have-
mirror.
No,
All
because
right,
people
go.
need to understand this because I completely 100% disagree with Dan. I love you. Completely disagree with you. There is no such thing as no fear. If you're stretching yourself, you're growing, you're changing, the new chapters, the new things that you're doing are going to be scary.
Yeah.
And so how do you talk yourself through that?
I think what also helped is that I wasn't a stage performer. I have acted and done whatever. So it is nerve-wracking. But if you just look at yourself in a mirror and talk to you the way you would talk to somebody.
Your best friend.
Practice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have a business spiel, right? Where you say, my name is Shannon Miller, this is what I do, I help people do this, and I'm gonna make your business blah, blah, blah. Did you practice that?
Yep.
Did you do it in a mirror?
Well, I do it in the mirror,
Yeah.
but I do.
I do.
What other things do you do in the mirror, Shannon?
Well, I don't
Wait,
know
wait,
if that's, it's not, this isn't,
Maybe at the
we've got
end
to
of the
make this
segment.
kid friendly when the kids are watching.
every
Yeah, but
day.
that's
No,
what I
but
do.
it's true. You
That's
got
what I
to
do.
practice and it becomes a part of you.
Yeah.
And it just falls out of your mouth. So when you're afraid, it doesn't matter
Right.
because you
Yeah.
practice so much.
And then the only times that I mess up are when I don't practice.
Yes.
And
I love
It's
that.
crazy like how it works. And it kind of feels ridiculous when you're doing it. But, he'll hear me be like, were you talking to me?
But that's such good advice.
No,
though.
babe, I'm talking to myself.
I'm talking to myself.
I'm talking to the next
myself.
person's
Yeah.
gonna reject me,
But
and
Joe,
I got the answer.
I'm sure the same
so.
thing for you. I mean, there can't be a point where you haven't gotten nervous when you've moved into a new business and had to call those first clients or potential clients or partners, and then it wasn't scary.
So I'll give you two things that I want to mention.
Yes,
is
please.
I'm a big basketball fan. I like to hit the gym, right?
Okay.
As you do a particular exercise over and over, you just get better at it, right? It just happens. Muscle memory, right? I think we also have verbal muscle memory, so language muscle memory, right? I have memorized just through the course of saying things over and
Scripts.
over about mortgages that if somebody asks me something, it just rolls off
Yeah,
my tongue.
it's an automatic response.
Correct. And as you do that more and more, you get more polished at it, and then you can add your own flavor to it. When you can make it your own and then like bring the person in, that's when you have it, right? That's when you have it down. That's one. Two, before I was with Marissa, right, when I was younger and still playing the field with women, there's the law of numbers, right? You don't base your whole the idea if you're gonna be with somebody on one person only, right? You play the field, you
don't?
play the numbers. Unless you found that person that struck you like lightning, like she did with me, right?
Right.
But if you're just out there and you want to date, you date several women, because what you don't want to do is if somebody turns you down, then you're like, well, I don't have anything to do for this week or anything like that. I take the same idea when it comes to clients, right? Make your calls.
okay.
And I was going to bring this up when you
Keep
guys
a
were
list.
talking about staying top of mind. I think that there are a lot of professionals, realtors and lenders and other people in other businesses too that make a huge mistake not investing in automation. these days because they don't want to invest in business. They want to pocket everything, or they're overspending, right? Because they're spending money that they haven't even earned yet.
Right.
And they don't want to invest in their business. You have to get automation. Nobody reads emails anymore. You want to get SMS texting. You want to get that's the next level of things.
Yeah, it's all convenience.
Yes.
It's fast. I don't have patience, right? I mean, that's kind of what
it is. And it's I mean, even the SMS text, right? People don't necessarily even open and read those. How many do you get from companies on a daily, right? But it's not about that. It's the fact that your name is popping up consistently. Even the emails, think about it. I can't tell you how many I get, but I can tell you the names of all of those companies because I get them consistently.
Yeah.
I don't open them. Delete. But when it comes time for their product, I'm going to call them.
And you can search back into that. Because even when you delete, you have it in the archive, right? So if it's, we were talking about this with Mabel, DSW, right? DSW, you want to buy a pair of Converses? Yeah, but do you want to get 20% off that pair? You might be able to get that. Just look back to your emails, and they're going to get that business from you.
So we have a bunch of, we're going to keep moving on. I'm going to say this. So we're going to have Marissa's information. So if you guys ever want to get a hold of Marissa, not sure, like if somebody's out there looking for something, electrician. I'm sure they are. You guys can give her a call, reach out to her by email. But I want to keep moving because we have to keep on a schedule here.
I feel like she needs to do our lighting in here so that we look better.
I would love to.
I don't think there's any lighting that's going to help you out. So
Wow! You must be talking to a mirror, right?
That just happened. Dad.
I'm just playing. Let's go back and let's talk a little bit about what's happening with the housing market. Okay, so you guys, we see that the raising or rising interest rates.
Yeah.
Is that
How much?
Well, it's rising overall the last 6 to 8 months, as you know. I would say it depends on each lender, but let's say it raised, maybe a point, right? So we're at the 4s, let's say, in a lot of these programs. So let me ask this question: with this housing market, is that going to have an impact on what this housing market's going to do here in Las Vegas? Do you guys feel that?
Yeah, 100%. I think it's going to level off a little bit. I've been saying this for a little while. We can't stay on the same trajectory. I think that I think it's still going to go up and people are still going to purchase because it's not a massive change in the mortgage rates, but there's inflation, there's all these other things going on. So I think it'll slow down a little bit, which, for me personally, I think that's great, but it wouldn't stop me from buying a home for sure.
How about you?
I don't think so, unless it doubles, triples, or something like that. I mean, we're still in a crazy. We haven't even hit spring.
This market is
one
stupid.
of our listings. I think it was a probate sale. The poor guy got 200 offers, or some ridiculous amount, 200 calls, or 200.
How do you
whatever.
even sift through that?
You go to bed.
You don't. You stop it right there, and you go. Everybody stop right now.
That's like
Stop
your
sending
DMs
me.
with all these men.
Oh, just not even there. Anyway, it's no.
That's another story, right?
Next time.
Poor Corin.
We're not going to get back on that. But listen, here's where I'm at. So you go back to 2010. All right. In 2010, we saw this same market roughly where you saw a lot of investors. It became an investment market. We only appreciated 7% roughly in 2010. We're starting to be back in this market. 2018, we saw rates go to 5%.
Right.
We see a very subtle increase, right, in the amount of people that are out buying houses, right? Are not buying, but getting into a house that are looking to say, okay, well, if you're looking at homes and you're saying, well, these homes are overappreciated, that's not happening. People are still buying.
They're still buying.
And I feel that this market's going to only increase just slightly. But people are going to still buy.
Yeah,
even though rates are going up, they're going to still buy. I mean, what do you think? Because you're in the industry, right?
I agree. I think that especially Las Vegas is not going to see a downturn because of the people from California coming here, and they have so much equity to bring into the state. And everything looks like a sale to them.
Well, we have equity here as well.
That too.
Our homes have equity here, and there are investor companies right now who are buying by the hundreds, properties by the hundreds. They want to control the market.
What happens though? And this is a question that I have because obviously I say this like every show. I'm not in the industry. But so you have all these people that are coming with all this cash, right? They could put down on a house, so they are coming to the top of the list when they're less than 2,000 homes on the market, which is insane.
Yeah, it's a little over 2,000.
Is it gone up?
Yeah,
it's gone up since Saturday.
But I think it's like this.
But how do you fight that as somebody who doesn't have that
you don't.
equity?
See, the problem is I think that you would think that the inflation problems, you would think that the rise of interest rates and the Fed's fund rate's going to be up. You look at the tapering. All these things are going to slow the market. but it's as hot as ever,
It's
right?
hot.
And there's not been any stop on people coming here and buying homes.
No, they're not going to.
So why would you think that rates would stop this where it would slow the market down? If it does, it might slow it down ever so subtly, but it's not going to just say, okay, we're now going to just, everybody's going to stop.
They're
And,
not
you know,
going to, no.
I mean, you
I
guys,
don't have any
I just see it
buyers.
leveling just a little bit, not quite as
I don't
big
have
of a
any
jump.
buyers.
Maybe-
It went up 0.5%. I can't buy anymore.
Maybe
Yeah.
maybe a little bit, but I don't think it's going to stop people from buying. Number
No.
one,
No.
two. If you look at inflation, right? Mm-hmm. You're still getting the money at a premium. The money's still
100%.
The money's still on sale. Whereas inflation was 2 to 3% in the past, and your rate was higher
Yep.
than that.
Yep.
Now inflation is predicted to be much higher than that. So at a 4.5 rate, you're still getting the money at a great rate. So you're getting that, and you're getting into a market that, in my opinion, in Vegas is still going to go up.
they said
I
that.
love that.
Yeah, they said
That's
that
really good
4.5% is that number. If rates get to 4.5%, we may see a decline in the amount of people buying homes, just because it's getting too expensive at that point,
Yeah.
right? You got homes
Yeah.
that are still appreciating, and I feel that we've gone up so much. I think the average home right now is 450,000 from the last
Yeah.
data I looked at.
Yeah.
So at some point it's going to get too expensive for people, but that might not happen. Money's cheap. It might not happen, and you know what? If rates stay the same and start to come down,
Yeah.
I
yeah.
have one more reason why I think it's going to continue. So COVID changed where you can work.
Yes.
You don't have to be in a big city to do your job anymore. So I feel that things across the country are going to homogenize and equal out, and you'll see some equaling. But Vegas is also being known now as a Zoom city, where you can come here. We have great infrastructure. It hardly ever rains. There's no weather to have issues with your power
Yeah.
lines as much as other states might have, other places might have. So people are flocking here as a Zoom city, and because rents are still super low, they get in as a renter, then they become a homeowner. So I still think Vegas has room to grow.
Vegas is
yeah.
just going to keep growing. Vegas, people don't, and that's what I say this all the time. You meet people from out of state, and they're like, "Oh, you live in Las Vegas?" I'm like, "You don't understand. Have you ever explored our actual community? Have you ever gone to Red Rock or Mount Charleston or Lake Mead or Hoover Dam, or have you been around the actual people? Because this place, Vegas is amazing, and I've tried to leave. I know.
You can't.
I know. I've
well, listen,
tried, and
people
I don't
pay a
want to.
premium. Basically, what you're saying is that Vegas is so desirable that they'll pay a premium.
Yeah.
They don't care about rates going up, prices going up. People are coming out of state. You're putting a lot of money down. So where's the real desire to not be here? I do so many deals.
You just don't like the desert? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I do so many deals that people work from home now. They can come here and buy a bigger home. Taxes are cheaper, right?
Yep.
Everything.
Weather's
you can
amazing.
have your own office at home, right? You don't have to be somewhere. I mean, do you guys work from home?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes, we do.
You work
Well,
from home.
I mean, unless I'm on a gig, then I go to the site.
But yeah.
but everything's out of your home,
Yeah.
right?
100%, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so you look at how this is played out with COVID and everything going on. I just don't see this stopping. 4.5% though. It's interesting to see, because if we get to that point, what is going to happen? Are we going to slow down?
Well, I'm just going to be clear, because I wasn't clear actually. I was referring to the prices of homes and how much they've gone up in value, and that kind of slowing just a little bit. But I don't think that people are going to stop buying here.
100%.
like-
The price of the home is not going to increase like we had last year.
Right, that's what I was
But
referring to.
The idea that people are going to stop buying.
It's still
No
a
way.
pretty good deal.
No,
Yeah.
it's Vegas.
Yeah.
Well,
Yes.
2010, like I said, they appreciated just slightly when it's a very similar market. If you look at I'm about demographics, I'm about data,
History,
history.
right, yeah.
Numbers man.
It rhymes itself, not always follows itself, but it does. You look at 7% in 2010, right? And if this does happen this year, are we going to be in those same percentages very subtly? Less than double digits. Are we going to be there? I feel that's what's going to happen. Now, could we get more inventory if we get to 4.5% interest rates? Maybe.
That'd be nice.
I mean, at that point, is it just the cost is too high? We see wages are starting to increase to compensate for that a little bit.
But 4.5% versus, you said 2010 it was 7%. Is that what you just said?
Well, no, the appreciation in the amount of not the appreciation, but the amount of buyers that came in and still bought, it appreciated where people continued to buy in that market only year over year, about 7% in 2010. This year might be the same story.
And I got to say one more thing about social media and this whole aspect too, is that social media has become the ultimate way that people end up wanting to keep up with the Joneses.
Yes.
So they see other people buying, right? Therefore, it's still a great time to buy, right? You know, everybody's going to put their wins on social media. So if they see their neighbor move down the street for a new home, they're going to want to do the same thing. Like I was telling them before we started the podcast, there are people who just refied and they're trying to then go into the home swap. And I'm like, what do you?
That's another thing. So look, you have a rate right now of 4%. Why would you move from your house?
Yeah, why?
That's another thing of why you're going to see that. Yeah, exactly. Go ahead.
We talk about inventory. Well, yeah, because you're here. Yes, you have equity, but then rates are going up, and there's no homes. Where the hell
where do you
go?
Where do you go?
Where do you go?
Right. So I always look at it like this. You know, this is a unhealthy market. People think it's a healthy market, right? Because it's like, oh, well, homes are going up. Yeah, the seller is writing, you know, their check to the bank right now. You know, the seller's at home selling their house. But this is not this is an unhealthy market. You're seeing a bigger difference between the lower and middle income families versus the higher income families. And the higher income families are the ones dominating the market, right? They're the ones that could come in and put $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 above. The average person out there just trying to work and make a living, they're not going to be able to buy a house today. I mean, let's just be honest with you.
True.
You know, you need down payment assistance. It's not going to happen.
Right. I think we're out of that
And I
assistance
think
program.
just 3 years ago, what you just said was the opposite. The average person in Vegas could buy a home.
Yes.
But now 3 years later, it's becoming more where you'd have to have a co-borrower or something like that to help you along, and DPA is not going to take you the whole way.
100%. Marissa, do you think this is an unhealthy market to buy a home?
They just bought a house.
Mentally, yes.
Mentally.
And I'll tell you
Well, but
why
did you
I
get
say that.
into it because of fear of missing out? Is that why you
Yes.
guys? Because it's like, hey, it's going to go up next year, and you're going to kick yourself on
Partially,
the situation.
we were renting. And
we got to find out what they were going to charge us.
yeah, they were like, oh yeah, you guys want to resign? It's going to be $500 more. And we were like, for
what?
this?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
And we wanted to purchase anyway. So it spurred us into, looking. I say it was difficult mentally because, oh my God, the looking for a house, you pull up to a place that's, your realtor comes and meets you. This place is open. We go look, and you're pulling away from the curb, and an offer has been made and accepted as you leave. That happened to us.
You don't even have a
That happened to
chance.
us like 10 times, and so the 11th time was actually the house we bought.
We got really lucky.
We got super lucky.
Yeah.
That's a long ass story, but basically, I was like, I don't want to go see any more houses.
Right.
You go see all the houses. I don't care anymore. I trust you. You're gonna pick us a nice place. I can't take this.
Yeah.
I can't take this. I can't take this rejection and all. Like, I could take rejection at work, but this house stuff, because you like, oh,
It's
we'll put the couch
personal.
there, and we'll do this and this yard,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna throw parties, and then you pull away, and the fucking house is gone.
Yeah.
That was like 2009 when I purchased in 2009 after the crash. I was like house after house after house, and there's all these cash investors because housing prices had plummeted.
Right.
So there's all these cash investors, and we're this young family just trying to get a place. I was pregnant with my oldest at the time.
Yeah.
And as we started like end of 08 and then into 09, and the house that I ended up purchasing, I think it was like 4 or 5 offers. The 5th time they called us because the cash investors would come in, something would fall through, but it was so emotional. I'm like, listen, I've been going through this during pregnancy
Right.
with my first baby.
Like, who wants to deal
I
with
have this
that?
baby, and it's just, I finally told my real estate agent, I said, listen, you tell him, don't frickin' call me again. You either take the offer,
Or
you
just leave
sit
me
through
alone.
the closing with escrow and all that shit. Like, I'm done. I'm
Yeah.
done because it is emotional.
And I want to add that don't be afraid of cash buyers. Okay, oh, is there a cash offer? There's 5 cash offers. Cash buyers are so flighty.
They're so
and
That's
they will
what I-
like,
that's what I experienced.
Oh, there's a scratch on the floor. Forget it. I'm gonna take my cash somewhere else. Fine. So put in that offer.
Yeah.
What
Don't
about
give
proof of
up.
funds? When you ask for proof of funds, do they just say, "Oh yeah"?
Trust me, Corinne.
Right.
I got it
Oh,
right
God.
here. It's like,
And then
you
yeah,
know,
whatever.
They show you like a picture of
Yeah.
money.
They write it down on a piece of paper. This is how much I have.
They're driving like
IOUs.
Yeah.
an
Big
05
IOUs.
Saturn.
Seriously.
So we're gonna
Real quick, you said
Yeah.
you guys liked some stories. Just real quick, I think the story was interesting. So we show up, and the house was labeled at a lower price on the MLS. So we get there, and our agent shows up, and the listing agent shows up, and the listing agent says, just by the way, before we go in, the price was wrong on the MLS. It's this.
Oh my.
So I was like,
How much
it
more?
was $75,000 wrong.
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
How did they mess that up?
And he didn't do it. It was
They
the
did.
His
assistant.
assistant.
Right.
Whatever.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm in there. I'm like,
It's never their fault.
yeah.
So
So,
she's
blame the
already
assistant.
She's already checked
I had
out.
already checked
She's
out.
checked out.
Then the pictures were beautiful, so I was like, okay, we can go look at it. And I was just walking through like, this is nice. Yeah, this is nice. Yeah, this is cute. Whatever. And then we get outside and
well, hold on. Before
yeah,
you get
yeah,
to that
please,
point.
because
So
I always ruin it.
I showed up in a black T-shirt and a pair of cargo pants, or
Yeah.
cargo shorts, right? So we walk in, and the listing agent looks at me and he goes, "Are you a lender?" And I was like, "Yeah. How do you know that?" And he goes, "You have a deal with one of my agents." And we rocked it. This is before I was with Knock. We rocked the deal. We got her closed super quick. And I think he passed that on to the sellers to say they're going to close if you just a strong
See,
offer.
don't you think that in this market, likability is a big deal? I talk about it all the time because look, if you
Dan,
know,
you need to work on that.
I have a real bad problem with being likable. So Shannon, you can talk to me after the show.
I
on this.
know.
So-
I'll
Dan's
help
very
you. I will coach you through it. sir.
Everybody.
Coach
it's
you
so
through
funny
it.
because you guys are like, he's so serious, and then I start and I'm like, let's go.
No,
Right?
and then he says nasty things.
No, listen, I want to say one thing. You guys all have made the room look a lot brighter today, including you, Shannon.
Thank you.
You guys all look
Your
lovely,
hat.
ladies. You're all
Thank
beautiful
you.
today. Thank you for showing up. But I want to go back. Okay, so we talk about this market. Okay, we're going to end this because I want to talk to you guys about your stories here. But just to kind of go with it, I feel that this market isn't going to stop. You guys agree that it's still an unhealthy market, even though you bought a home, right? And you guys, what do you guys foresee happening here in Las Vegas moving forward? Do you think the prices are going to continue to go up, or do you guys feel like we've kind of hit our peak?
I don't think it's at the peak yet. I think it'll still go up a little bit more with people coming in from California. Not as fast as last year, obviously. And the one thing I want to say about an unhealthy market, it's unhealthy if you're stretching yourself, right? If you're going too high, close to your max DTI, and you're putting in offers that you really shouldn't be putting in, of course it's going to be unhealthy. And unfortunately, a lot of Americans do just that.
Yeah, they live paycheck to paycheck.
and outside of
But
their
you know,
means.
one of the things is we talked about inflation, and that's another problem for people because they can't save money. So even if you're trying to save money and you're at 7.5 inflation, how many people are going to have a problem? You know, everybody's going to have issues just trying. Not again, higher income wage earning or households are not going to have that issue. Middle to lower income households, they're going to have a struggle. They're not going to be able to buy a home. You know what I
Right,
mean? They're just
right.
not,
They're
unfortunately. So let's keep moving. I want to talk to you guys. What's your story today?
Women's.
Come
Well,
on, women's.
actually, no. It's not a story. Well, okay, we can make it a story. We'll make it a story. So I want to talk about. So, and Corin has been there. It's actually how we got introduced and met Marissa was through the events that I run.
Wait, you guys know her?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
No, that no.
We have a secret sisterhood,
My
don't you know?
goodness.
We're a
Dan?
gang. You know,
Sir.
California, 3 or
My
more
God.
is a gang.
But that's, and talking about, Las Vegas and how small Las Vegas is we actually, that's how we met her, was because me and my partner Nicole host Together. It's called Together, so capital HER at the end because it's woman
So
focused.
cute.
I know, Dan. I know it's woman focused.
you guys ever seen the where you had Married with Children that said "No, ma'am"? You ever seen that?
No Man Club? Yeah.
No, ma'am.
No, I don't remember that.
I'm just playing. I'm not going to get into that. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
don't. You just be quiet.
Anyway, your next event.
Anyways,
we're all
so
going.
Yes.
we just I just finished everything up today. We're doing another one on the 31st, but the whole idea behind it is the fact that we want to create this space in town because it's exactly what Marissa was saying is you come here and it really is a different culture where people are there to support. And I hear all the time people go, it's just hard to meet good people here. And I thought, well, actually, no. I know a lot of really good
Yeah.
people here. So what if we created a space where we could bring everybody to the table? And it's not one of those grab your card and hand it to the person next to you, and then everybody has a 15-second spot to explain their.
That's so
no.
2019.
Yeah, that's not what this is about. It truly is about bringing people to the table. And number one, experiencing a local restaurant versus us going to a big casino. I love the big casinos. I'm not trashing, our casinos, but it's nice to support a local business. And then on top of it, giving people the space to, you're either going to meet a friend, a future client, a business partner, an investor, or somebody that you're going to sit across. They can be in a completely different industry. and they can share just a little bit of value in their experience and building a business that you can take and then implement into yours and have success and make an impact. And so Corin and I were talking about it earlier, because that's how we all met. Is together events. And me and Nicole, we pour our heart and soul into these things. It takes a lot of work to put it together, but it's worthwhile, because in the end, I wouldn't know her. We wouldn't be sitting here right now if we didn't put ourselves out there like that. And so if you're a local business owner, by the way, reach out to me.
Corin, what do you got to say about that?
Yeah, because Corin's been.
Oh, that is my bread and butter. I love networking with other women. You know that. With women's groups, they're just
I think it's
very
like this.
Supportive.
Yeah, I think women they're trying to obviously make a big push in the world as far as, getting business started and entrepreneurs, getting things going, having events. So I feel that you guys are, really starting to kind of come into your own as far as you guys out networking. Yeah. Where do you guys feel that the hardest part for people like getting their foot in the door, say that like for her or somebody that's going to start with you guys and say, I want to be a part of that event coming into this, like, how does somebody find that, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. Like, if you're somebody coming from out of state, coming from somewhere else, and you're saying, hey, I need to know people, I need to meet people. Yeah. How does somebody find that?
Well, you do what Marissa did. You got to put yourself out there.
Put yourself out there.
You have
social media.
Yeah. Yep. Start connecting, start having conversations.
Do you have to have a certain zodiac sign or something, or what?
No, but to be clear, I do want to be clear about this, Dan, because we together started as woman based. And as much as we talk about the female side, no, I would not be the woman I am today without some incredible men in my life. One of my best friends is one of the most amazing men I've ever met, and I've learned so much from him. And so together isn't just for women. There's men there too. There's men. We're all giving value.
I think people in general, like, where do you go to get started? Because I think a lot of people, when you come to Vegas, you're leaving somewhere and you want to kind of jump in and start. Hey, I want to do business and I want to meet people. Like, what did you do? How did you get started?
How did I get started?
Yeah,
I did what she did. I just put myself out there.
No, but honestly, I mean, were you invited? I mean, how did you get the start point of saying, okay, I want to go do this, and this is.
Honestly, it was there was just a moment where I realized there's a skill set within me. I understand it. Not everybody has that, where I'm just a connector. That's part of who I am. And so it was.
Did you do a lot of dot to dots when you were younger?
What? I ain't go shush, Dan.
You're a connector.
You guys,
aren't you a connector?
He just can't stay on subject. He just be serious.
I'm listening to you.
I know you are. He's listening, you guys.
I'm listening.
No, there just came a point where I realized that that's a skill set, and not everybody has that. And I wanted to facilitate. So it wasn't. I had gone to no, that's not true. What showed me what I didn't want it to look like was going to other networking events, and it was so cold and so stupid. And actually, there were women that were just plain out just rude to other business women that didn't show up in the proper attire or have the right cards, or no, that's not how it works at my table. If you're good people and you're showing up, and to be clear, we kind of interview people and I watch them afterwards. If they meet somebody at one of my events and I get more than one person that gives feedback that they are not showing up properly in business or doing what they say, or whatever that is for them, I never invite you again.
Wow.
I don't.
I got invited
because that's
again.
my name. That's my name. That's your name. That's her name. That's your name. No.
We got to end the show here in a second. But Corin, you got anything else to say about that?
No. I'm going. Marissa's going.
What about real estate? You got something very short to talk about your experiences in real estate. What are you going through right now? Just 30 seconds.
Rejection is good for you. Keep you don't take it personally. I had the nastiest call a couple of years ago. And he called me back after I said, we're done with this conversation, sir. I kept that voicemail in my phone for 2 weeks, and I made myself listen to it every day. Every day. So it's like, bring it. It's fine. It's fine. They don't know you. It's okay. Rejection. Eat that up.
Yes.
Do it.
You can say shit.
Everybody loves rejection.
That was a really good edit.
That was really
I
good.
know.
Yeah.
That wasn't you? I thought you edited
No,
it.
I just pushed. I pulled the
Okay,
volume
that's what I
down.
thought.
Yeah, you did a really good job on that. Good job, Corinne.
you.
So I just want to say, you guys, thank you so much. We love the channel, or you guys hopefully love the channel. Of course, we love it.
love it.
Subscribe
It's
to
good.
the channel, like the channel. Hopefully, we can keep getting subscribers and getting likes on this. If you guys have any questions, leave them in the comment section. For Corin Lujan, you got anything else to say as we leave?
corinLujan.com, the Mendez team at Keller Williams, Las Vegas.
Shannon Miller.
Shan Miller LV on Instagram, SHANN Miller LV.
Marissa Martinez. Marissa Marshall.
Close.
Well, it's
Close.
there.
Because close, you guys are not married, but
Right.
technically.
Tiger, Tyger, Madenda, Tiger Madenda on Instagram is where you can find
That's
me right
awesome.
now.
I'm going to tag her on
I
my
know.
stories
Yes.
now that I have it.
And Joe Martinez, what's
Joe
going on, buddy?
Martinez,
So just reach out. Yeah, you guys can reach out to Joe. Just throw out your, somebody needs a bridge loan. How does somebody get a hold of you?
J Martinez at knock.com, and my phone number is 702-235-2335.
Guys, I want to thank you so much. This is Dan French. This is French Workbench Podcast. We'll see you guys again on Saturday. Thank you so much. Subscribe to the channel. We'll see you at the next one. Thank you for watching the French Workbench Podcast. You can find us here every Tuesday at 6 p.m. and Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. to find out all the information on real estate and financing here in Las Vegas. Also, check us out on our LV Home Professionals website. You can find your future home there, a lot of good information, and you can find us on audio only.